Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Colin. I'm an English teacher working in Tokyo. In today's listening practice, I'm going to talk to you about the rainy season in Japan. It's the rainy season just now, so I thought it was a good time to talk about this. So during this listening practice, any words that I think might be tricky or might be interesting for you to learn, I will highlight at the bottom of the screen. So hopefully you find that useful. So let's get started with this topic. First of all, what is the rainy season? The rainy season is a period of rain, surprisingly, that happens between the beginning of June and maybe the middle of July. In Japan, not just Japan actually. It happens in southern parts of China, also in Korea, but this region is affected by this rainy season. Japan is a very long country, so the rainy season hits the country at different times, or hits different parts of the country at different times. So it can start even as early as May, maybe middle of May, down in the very south in Okinawa, and then it will run till the end of July towards the north of Japan. The very north part of Japan, Hokkaido, very rarely gets this kind of rainy season. Usually by the time the clouds have reached that far north, they've used up all their rain, or the majority of the rain has already been spent on other parts of the country. But the exact dates of this vary. So some years it will be early, some years it will be late. In some years you don't even notice it. I would say certainly for me living in Tokyo, some years we have a very, very mild rainy season. So it's not, shall we say, reliable. It doesn't always hit, and it doesn't always hit very hard. Some years obviously can be really bad though. So in Tokyo, the rainy season usually starts maybe early to mid June, and it runs maybe to the middle of July in Tokyo. But like I said, some years we don't really get very much rain at all. But for me, the rain is not a huge problem. I'm from the UK, I'm from the north of Scotland, and I know what rain is. I've experienced a lot of rain during my life. I'm okay with rain. But the big difference for me with the rainy season in Japan is the humidity. I would say the temperature and the humidity. In terms of temperature, it doesn't get crazy hot. Certainly in Tokyo, the temperature at this time of year ranges between 20 centigrade and 25 centigrade. And that's okay. That kind of temperature I think is not too bad. But the real difference is with humidity. And humidity is, I guess the way to describe humidity is the moisture in the air. Some days, I think today is a good example, you feel like you could just grab the air. You could just reach out and grab a handful of air. The air feels really, really thick. And that's quite uncomfortable, especially if you have to go somewhere and do something. Maybe you have to wear a suit, you have to wear a tie, you have to dress formally. By the time you get to where you want to be, you're going to be a sweaty mess, and it's uncomfortable. Even Japanese people who have grown up in Japan, they feel the same. This isn't just something that people coming to Japan from other countries notice. It's something that it's uncomfortable for everybody. So the humidity is a big problem. Also, the unpredictability of the weather. So usually, I would say for most of the year, certainly if you live in Tokyo, the weather forecast is pretty accurate. It seems like the weather is quite stable here, and they can predict with a high degree of accuracy what the weather is going to be like. And it's just different. When it gets to the rainy season, all bets are off. You just don't know what the weather is going to be like. So checking the weather forecast, it might say it's not going to rain, but then suddenly some rain clouds will appear and you'll have a really heavy downpour. But then some days there'll be no rain at all. But it's often cloudy at this time of year. And that's a big difference from the winter. During the winter, it is really, really dry. Blue skies almost every day through winter. And I really like that. The sunlight is really important for me. So I love the blue sky days. But as you move into this period, we start to get more and more clouds. So as I said, the big problem at this time of year is the humidity, this kind of moisture in the air, and you just can't escape it. So living here, some things you need to think about are how to deal with that humidity. Mold can be a problem if you don't have a way to kind of remove moisture from where you are, the environment where you are. Mold can really start to be a problem. It can be very difficult to dry your washing. So if you've washed some clothes or some bed sheets or towels, it can be a challenge to dry them outside because there's just so much moisture in the air and it's cloudy that your clothes or whatever will just stay moist. So that's a little bit tricky. At night, sleeping at night can start to become difficult as well because of the humidity. So usually this time of year is when I take out my fan and I use that at night to try and stay cool. So what can you do to deal with this humidity, this period? One thing that's really important to start using at this time of year is these little, how do you describe them? They're kind of like moisture absorber boxes. I'm not even sure what the Japanese for this is. I'm not sure what the Japanese term is. Usually I just go to the pharmacy or the Home Depot or whatever, the local kind of hardware shop, and usually you can buy these little boxes. And I think through this apartment maybe we have 10 or 12 of these little boxes in cupboards, any place where we think there might be humidity. So we've got a couple in the kitchen, in the shower room where we have the sinks. These little boxes kind of get scattered around and they absorb moisture from the air. And it's quite a standard thing to have. I think most Japanese homes will use these little boxes. And they can last for about 3 months, 3-4 months maybe, and then you need to change them. But really crucial at this time of year. The other thing you can use is obviously your air conditioning. So the air conditioning units we have, they can heat, they can cool, but they also have this dehumidify option. So on my remote control, there's cool on one side, heat on the other side, and in the middle, the button is to dehumidify. And that is amazing. It just sucks the moisture out of the air and suddenly the room becomes much more comfortable. So I find that's more effective than just trying to cool the room. Really, you want the moisture to be extracted from the space that you're in. So that's kind of being at home, how you manage it when you're at home. But going outside, always take an umbrella with you, take a poncho. I see a lot of people cycling when it starts to rain. They have the big kind of poncho that they wear when they're cycling. Some people use this kind of cool spray. So it's just a few squirts, maybe on their arms as well, will help to keep their body cool during this time. Sometimes you get these little body wipes. It's kind of like a face wipe, but you can actually use it on your body as well. They're quite common, and a towel. I would say from this time of year forward, almost every Japanese person you see will have a small towel with them, just to kind of dry their hands or to pat their forehead to deal with this humidity. But the rainy season isn't all bad. There are some nice things about the rainy season. So this time of year we have the hydrangeas in bloom, and they are everywhere. So near where I live, there's a beautiful temple that has thousands of hydrangeas in bloom. The university where I teach at, they have a lot of hydrangeas in the campus. And it's really nice. It's just such an explosion of colour at this time of year. And I think with the rain actually makes these flowers kind of sparkle a little bit. So after it's rained and the sun comes out for a little bit, the raindrops on all the hydrangeas really seem to sparkle, which is quite nice. Some parks also have irises. Some of the traditional Japanese parks and gardens will have irises. They also bloom at this time of year. So that's quite a nice thing to enjoy. Every cloud has a silver lining, as they say. Another thing I enjoy about this time of year is, especially when I'm in central Tokyo, I see these very fashionable men and women in their suits or dresses or whatever, and they all have their big rubber boots on. I find that quite funny, because for me, boots like that, big rubber boots like that, is for the countryside. Farmers wear big boots like that. If you're in the city, you don't. But it's quite funny for me to see the contrast between the high fashion that these people are wearing and these kind of welly boots, Wellington boots. I think that just makes me smile when I see that. Personally, I enjoy the rainy season. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but I really find the rain calming. I find it quite relaxing. Very often when I'm working, I'll have headphones on and I will listen to maybe some jazz with a little bit of rain kind of noise in the background. I find rain very, very relaxing. So I love sitting outside with a book, with a cup of coffee and the rain coming down. That's a perfect way for me to spend an afternoon during the rainy season. But the rainy season doesn't last forever, and in a few weeks the rainy season will be finished and we will be moving into the summer. And it's going to get hot very, very quickly. As soon as the rainy season stops, the temperature will increase dramatically, and then we will be in the middle of summertime, and that's tough. I find the summer more difficult than the rainy season. Okay, so that's a little bit about the rainy season in Japan. Is there a rainy season where you are? What do you think about it? What's your favorite season? Any kind of comments like that, please share them below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.